everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have just kind of raided my wooden shape stash and we are going to make a bunch of different ornaments using Dollar Tree supplies. I'm pretty sure these came from Dollar Tree last year and I just have them left over. I have 3 of them. These are the really thick, are they full inch? About 3/4 of an inch thick plywood pieces that you can find off and on at the Dollar Tree. I have 5 circles, 3 stars, 3 plaques, and 1 heart. And we are going to do those all up. And these are all going to become farmhouse style ornaments. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the hangers off of all of these. Because I could take the time to untie them, but, ouch. But I've got so much jute around here and jute is cheap. I will reuse that on something else eventually, but anyway, so I need to get the stickers off and the tags and just get these all prepped. Okay, so when I cut these, because I might want to reuse the hanger sometime, I just cut it close to the knot to be able to salvage as much as possible. Okay, so once I get these all with the hangers off and all the stickers off, I'm going to take my sandpaper and just sand lightly the edges just to get any rough spots and any little fuzzies off of there. And that's how I'm going to prep them for paint. So I'm going to get all this ready and come right back to paint with you. Alright, so we are going to base coat these things white, especially on the edges. I want to make sure that the edges have a good coating on them. I have ideas for different things to do with the edges, but I just think a base coat just to cover up all that raw exposed wood is a good thing. Once they're base coated with white, if I want to put some color on them, like some red or some yellow or gold or whatever for the stars, then I can just dry brush it on and the base coat's already there and I don't have to make as big of a deal about the painting of it. So everything's just going to get a good base coat of white. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish painting all the base coats off camera. I think you can figure out how to do that. I trust you to be able to paint your pieces with a coat of white paint without having to watch me do it. So anyway, I'll be back when this is done. Alright, all of these ornaments have dried, and I've got a bunch of these rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree. You just get 1 page in there, but that's still, I think, a decent price, especially since you've got all these other little vines. So I'm very carefully going to cut out this wreath in the middle, and I'm going to attach it, apply it, I guess is the word, to this ornament. And with rub-on transfers, you just rub with a stick, a popsicle stick, or some other kind of flat device that you can just rub it all on there with. And then you peel up the little plastic paper. When you peel up the plastic paper, you need to go kind of slow. I can't get a hold of it. Go kind of slow just in case part of your picture didn't transfer. Like I've got 2 little spots right here. It didn't transfer, so I'm just going to lay that back down and rub my popsicle stick over it. As I'm peeling it up, I'm checking it all the way around. Nope. Rub-on transfers were really big in the early 2000s and the 80s and 90s as well. I kind of thought they were long since gone, and I'd had some in my stash forever. And I think all the vinyl cutter machines have kind of killed off the rub-on transfers, but Dollar Tree brought some back, and I like the finish you get from a rub-on transfer. It's different than vinyl, and it's a different look than vinyl as well. Okay, I just think that looks really pretty on the white. Now it's not a super Christmassy wreath because it's just leaves. Okay, but we're gonna farmhouse it up. Sometimes when you're decorating for farmhouse, with that farmhouse look, you don't really care about the fact that it's not super Christmassy. It's more important that it be super farmhousey. So I've got some of this buffalo check ribbon from, they're calling it gingham ribbon, from the Dollar Tree. And it is just a tiny bit skinnier than the edge. So I'm going to wrap this around. And I've been toying with what kind of glue I want to use. Part of me wants to use hot glue because it'll be fast. But the other part of me wants to use something that's going to be a little flatter and not have not leave a ridge like hot glue does. I think I'm going to try this clear tacky glue. You could also probably use regular tacky glue. That would be fine. You could use Mod Podge. I actually thought about Mod Podge. So I'm just going to kind of smear this around. I'm going to go get the glue smeared on all the way around before I attach my ribbon. I just think that that's going to be an easier way to do it. I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to lay it down in the center. And I'm going to pull it kind of tight and push it into that glue. So I want it to kind of soak up the glue a little bit. Trying to keep these fingers very clean. In fact, I might recommend, seeing how messy this is, that you do your ribbon first and then put your rub-on transfer on after your ribbon's been glued on. Okay, and then I need scissors. And I'm just kind of rubbing the glue into the ribbon. I think that's going to look really cute. And what's fun about this is you could use it in a wreath after Christmas if you wanted to, like a wreath charm. I'm thinking about putting in like a farmhouse font some kind of word on the back. But I also think it would be really cute to add some little red berries to this to Christmas it up a little bit. So I'm going to grab lacquer colored Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to grab a paintbrush, a small paintbrush, and I'm going to dip into the paint that's in the lid just onto the end of my paintbrush, and I'm just going to dot in a few little red berries around just to Christmas it up a little bit. You could put white berries in here too, that would be pretty. Stop when you're happy with it so that you don't go overboard. I tend to go overboard. I think that looks adorable with the little red berries in it. I'm going to set that aside so that the glue and the paint can dry. I was wondering about the star, and I'm going to cut a few more of these little vines, and I might raid a couple other packages. So that these can all match. You're going to see me peel off the protective backing of the rub-on transfer while I'm designing it. Don't do that. I drop them and they stick together and it ruins my rub-on transfer. So cut out the transfer close to the line and design it with the protective coating on the back until you're ready to stick it down. So there's just some little symmetrical vines on here. I'm just cutting them off. Just trying to kind of get a pretty star-shaped effect. And then there's one more vine that looks like it matches this set. And so I'll pull that off and see what we can do here. Okay, I don't know how this is going to look, but we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to put this tall one up the middle, and the part's right there in the way of the hole. And by the way, I was just at the Dollar Tree about an hour ago, and they still had some of these chunky ornaments. They're not in the Christmas section, they're back in the Crafter Square. They come and go at my Dollar Tree pretty regularly, so keep checking if you don't see them and you want to try this. These just happen to line up in a nice little arch, and it comes right to the end of that straight one. So that's what it's looking like so far. And then I have these, and I wish I hadn't gotten them stuck together. Oh shoot. Be careful with your rub-ons, because this one stuck to the other one, and now both little pieces I think are shot. Yeah. Darn it, anywho. Those are no good now. I messed them up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut into another one just to show you what I was thinking. Alright, so the ones I'm cutting for the small ones are this one and this one. No, this one and this one. And I'm only going to cut one at a time. I don't want to mess up another set. So it would have been nice to have been able to get that whole set out of there. Okay, and then I've got a long one that I'm going to add to it. Okay, there's that one, and then I'm thinking we can put some red paint in the middle of that as well to gussy it up a little. And I'm thinking a little bit bigger on these dots, and then just kind of doing a little snowflake dot thing in the middle. just kind of tie it all together. And then let's try a few random ones here. Yeah, that one got a little out of hand. All right. I think I love how that one looks too. I'm going to wait for this one to dry before I go ahead and put the ribbon around it. But these would both be really, really cute hanging on a farmhouse tree. Got all these other little vines on here. I'm just kind of wondering if they would lend themselves to being a star. So I'm going to cut some out. And this time I'm going to leave the paper on the back while I'm exploring with them. But what's nice about this set is that there's two that are symmetrical but going in opposite directions. So like these will curve opposite of each other so that you can make a wreath with them if you were so inclined to do so. Okay. So we're going to start with the biggest one. I have been wanting to do these ornaments for a couple of weeks now, and I'm finally getting around to them. I saw these rub-on transfers back in the summertime and thought about Christmas ornaments with them way back then, and just am finally getting to them now. And I was going through cleaning my craft cupboard up a little bit, and I came across these chunky ornaments I had forgotten about, and I thought, oh, that's what I want to put them on. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to switch this up for a second. I have another idea of something that would work even better. Okay, you can use a bamboo skewer. I have done that in the past. But since I want this dot in the middle to be rather large, I'm going to use my bigger dowel. This is like a 1/4 inch dowel. And then this is a stylus. It's used for embossing. I have seen some of these at the Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section. They're pink. I have some from there somewhere, but I'm in the midst of reorganizing my craft room and I can't find everything I want. So I'm just using this. I like it because the tip is round. It's a ball, so I can pretty much hold it in any direction and get a good dot. You can also use like a brand new pencil eraser. That also works. So far I've made 3 ornaments out of one. Well, I had to fix my mistake out of a second package, but so far I've got 3 ornaments out of one package of rub-on transfers. I just need to poke my hole through the transfer there, and there's that one. I think I like on the star, I like this spikier leaf a little better, but it's very cute. All right, what have I got left? I don't know. I think I will save that for something else. Never throw these things away. I can just stick it right back into the package, and then all the leftover little pieces will go in there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with the rest of those, and I'll come back and show you what they look like when they're all done. Alright, everything has dried, and so I've got this nice banding around the chunky ornament, and I took just a Sharpie marker, and I hand wrote Joy in the middle, and I covered that with a little bit of Mod Podge just to protect it. And now I've put a jute tie through on all of these, and how I did that was I just cut a long piece and I folded it in half, and then I run my tool through there just to make sure there's no Mod Podge or paint piled up in there, and I feed it through, and then I pull it tight. Okay, this is still untied at this end at this point, and I want to show you because after I started working on this video, I was watching a video by Crafts by Caitlin, and she did an ornament almost exactly like this. But I did not copy her. I had this idea last summer when I first saw these, because I had gotten these gift tags on clearance at Hobby Lobby. And I thought, wouldn't that be cute to do on a wooden circle? Okay, and then when they started coming out with these wreath rub-ons, I thought, okay, well, that's how I'm going to do it. And I decided to write Joy in there because it's smaller and it just fit. So, yes, Crafts by Caitlin has one very similar, but I didn't copy her. I didn't see it before I started working on this one. And this one's totally different. So before you yell and scream at me for copying another YouTuber, I didn't do that. Anyhow, okay, enough of my soapbox. I found some white painted beads at a thrift store, so I grabbed those up. If you don't have white painted beads, you can just paint some white if you have some regular beads. These beads came off of a garland from Hobby Lobby that I got when they were doing half off a couple of weeks ago. So I think they ended up costing me like $3 for the whole garland. So I am going to thread on over both strings, and hopefully it's going to work. I'm going to do a red one and a white one. And the white ones, they've got all different sizes and shapes and whatnot. Okay, I think that's kind of cute. I think I might do one more red one if I can get it on there. Okay, so that's how that's going to look. Now, I haven't tied the end of my string yet, so I'm going to tie it now. And I'm going to tie it down as close to that top bead as I can get it to keep those from moving around. And then I'm just going to tie a knot at the top. And that's what's going to make my loop for hanging right there. And then, okay, so that's what that is. And then I made up some little bows just from Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm going to put that right over the hanger to cover up the hole. And press that down. Okay, there's my finished ornament. I think it's very cute. I decided to go ahead and just leave the backs blank, but I just like how that little color on the top works. I'll show you what I did with the heart. So with the heart, I used the rub-on transfers that have the cactuses on them, and these are rub-ons from that, and then I dotted them with red. This is a sticker from one of their designer sticker packs from the Crafter Square. It came from one of these. Okay. I still found those in my Dollar Tree just yesterday when I was in there, so they should still be available. And I just put the little rub-on vines around it. This one I didn't like as well because all of the vines curved the same way, so it was hard to get like a little swag across the top. and then it had just a tiny bit of red in there, so I went ahead and did the red dots. And then on the back I just hand wrote the word home, did some holly and some berries. Alright, I have all of the hangers on. Now I'm just gonna hot glue on the little bows. A little bit of buffalo check just finishes this off and screams farmhouse. These are going to go to my craft sale booth that I have coming up in a couple of weeks, but I have another set of 9 ornament bases that I will be making for myself. You guys will probably start asking, how did I tie my bow? I just tied the bows like you would a pair of shoes. I just made a loop. I can show you real quick. This is red, but you'll get the idea. Leave yourself enough. So I just made a loop, twist it around, and I try to make sure that my loop and my twist that goes around, that everything's straight as I go. And then I kind of twist it and poke it back through, and I make a really big loopy bow first. And then as I tighten it, I pull them down and I level out the loops. Tighten it, pull until you get the loops the size you want, and then you just trim the tails for whatever size you want. Okay, that's how I tie those little bows. Alright, there you have it, my farmhouse chunky ornaments for Christmas. I love how that little buffalo check works out really well, and that buffalo check on the edge is just beautiful. So I wish I could put it up so you could see it a little better. Anyway, these were very simple to make using the rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree, and that house is a sticker. And then just some beads that I cut from a garland, and then buffalo check ribbon that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. Okay, and then I just dotted it with some Waverly chalk paint in the color lacquer to give it those little red berries that are on there. Okay. Let me know what you're thinking about this project in the comment section below. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. That helps my channel to grow. Also, let me know if this is something you would make to put on your Christmas tree, and if you're going to go see if you can find those rub-ons and a chunky ornament. Any little circle ornament would work. I love the way this looks on the chunky ornament. I cannot wait to put these on my Christmas tree. Alright, let me know what you're thinking. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.